My daughter Amara had been missing for 30 long breath-stealing days. I held on to hope like it was my last piece of oxygen until the morning I unlocked her silent apartment and saw something that made my knees give out. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe for more powerful real-life stories told from the heart. I share new life stories here every day, and I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and liked my video. Now let's jump back into my story. I sure you love it. If you keep listening till the end and tell me from which part of the world you are watching this story, I am interested too. Know how far away this story travel. I'm Lorraine Carter, a 49-year-old mother from Detroit, and I raised my daughter alone with nothing but grit, prayer, and late-night shifts. Amara was my Prita girl with a bright smile and a stubborn streak that reminded everyone of her mama. She never went more than a day without calling me, not one. So when her phone went dead, her job reported her absent, and a week passed with no trace. My world began to split open. The police took my report but treated me like another black mama overreacting. Adults disappear all the time, they told me. Give it time. It's easy for them to say. They weren't the ones waking up every night gasping, imagining all the ways a daughter could vanish. By the end of week 4. I couldn't breathe unless I had something of hers in my hands, a sweater, a photo, even her old community college ID. Her silence echoed louder than gunshots in the neighborhood. I prayed. I bargained. I cursed. I begged God for a sign, even a painful one. And then on day 30, Amara's landlord called. Miss Carter, your daughter's door is cracked open. Been that way since morning. Thought you should know. My heart punched my ribs open. Nobody's supposed to be there. I know, he replied. That's why I'm calling. I didn't wait for a police escort. Didn't even tie my shoes right. I drove with shaking hands and whispered my daughter's name like it was a prayer and a plea at once. When I reached her building, old brick complex with creaky hallways and flickering lights, the world felt too quiet, like the whole block was holding its breath. The door to Amara's apartment was exactly as the landlord said, cracked open. A sliver of darkness waited inside Amara. My voice trembled. No answer. I pushed the door fully open. At first, nothing looked strange. Her couch was still covered with the throw blanket her grandmother crocheted. Her candles were scattered on the table like she'd left in a hurry. But then, something caught my attention. A low, broken sound coming from the bedroom. It was a whimper, soft, irregular, human. My legs turned to wet sand as I moved down the hallway. Each step felt like walking toward a truth I wasn't ready for. When I reached her bedroom door, my hand paused mid-air. Another whimper. I pushed the door open, and what I saw was sitting on her bed. Trembling, wrapped in Amara's clothes, knocked the life out of me. My knees buckled. I hit the floor, gasping. Because it wasn't Amara, but it was someone who knew exactly where she was. And what had happened to her? I couldn't breathe. My palms pressed against the carpet as I stared at the small figure sitting on Amara's bed. At first, I thought my mind was tricking me, grief hallucinations, the kind people whisper about. But no, he was real, trembling, terrified. A little boy, no older than 5. Skin the color of warm cocoa. Hair in soft coils. Eyes wide and wet like he'd been crying for hours. He wore Amara's old hoodie way too big for him, and clutched a stuffed bear I had bought my daughter when she was 12. My heart squeezed. Baby, who are you? I whispered. The boy flinched at my voice. His small hands tightened on the bear. It's okay, sweetie, I said softly, crawling closer. My knees still weak from fear. I'm Amara's mother. Are you hurt? He shook his head, but tears spilled anyway. I hesitated before reaching out, not wanting to scare him more. What's your name? His lips barely moved. Jaden. A name like a faint exhale. Jaden, I repeated gently. Where's my daughter? Do you know where Amara is? At that, he looked down, shoulders trembling. I felt a coldness prick my spine. This boy wasn't here by accident. Someone put him in my daughter's home for a reason. And Amara, wherever she was, she had to be connected to him. Before I could ask anything else, I heard the front door creak. I whipped my head toward the hallway. Someone else was here. I sprang to my feet and rushed to the living room. Who's there? Silence. Only my heartbeat, thudding loud enough to drown the world. Then a shadow moved across the frosted window near the fire escape. Not outside, inside the building, in the hallway. I grabbed my phone, ready to dial 911. But then I remembered I didn't know what the boy had seen. If someone dangerous was still close, calling the police without understanding the situation could put us both at risk. I locked the door fast and hurried back to the bedroom. Jaden was curled into a ball, shaking harder now. "Baby, look at me," I whispered, crouching beside him. "You're safe. Nobody's going to hurt you." He peeked up at me and in a tiny, breaking voice. He whispered something that ripped the air clean out of my chest. They took Amara. Because of me. The room spun. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" I asked, steadying myself on the bed frame. Jaden held out the stuffed bear. His small fingers shook as he lifted it. Something was tucked inside the zipper of its back, a folded piece of paper. My breath froze. "Did Amara give you this?" He nodded. I unzipped the bear, pulled out the note, and unfolded it with trembling hands. My daughter's handwriting. "Mom, if you're reading this, it means they found me. Don't trust anyone. Not the police. Not the neighbors. They're watching. Protect the boy. He's the key. And Mom, I'm so sorry." Amara, the note slipped from my fingers. A sudden bang shook the apartment door hard, fast, demanding. Jaden screamed. I grabbed him, pulling him close. Another bang. Whoever was outside, they weren't knocking. They were trying to break in. The pounding on the apartment door rattled the entire frame. Jaden clung to my leg, his tiny body shaking like a leaf in a thunderstorm. "Stay quiet," I whispered. Another blow. A deep, heavy thud like someone using their shoulder or a boot. Not a knock. A break dash in. My heart clawed at my ribs. I scanned the room for anything I could use to protect us. A lamp, a chair, a drawer. But my hands were trembling too badly to hold anything steady. "Come on, baby," I whispered, scooping Jaden into my arms. He looped his small arms around my neck, burying his face against me. The note. Amara's warning. Don't trust anyone. Whoever was out there wasn't a cop. They weren't a friend. And they weren't here to talk. I darted out of the bedroom and sprinted toward the hallway. The door shook again, this time with a splintering sound. Whoever was out there would be inside in seconds. I forced myself to think. Amara lived on the second floor. Fire escape. But if they were watching the building, they'd see us through the window. Closet, too obvious. Bathroom. Too small and only one exit. Then my eyes shot to the pantry door. The one Amara once joked felt like a hidden room because the landlord built it too deep. A hiding place. I rushed inside, closing the door behind us just as a violent crack split the apartment door in two. Jaden whimpered, and I pressed him gently against my shoulder. Sweetheart. Mama's got you." Footsteps entered the apartment. Heavy, slow, someone large. Confident. They moved through the living room, each step echoing like a countdown. My breath froze as the footsteps reached the hallway. For a moment, everything stopped. Then the stranger's voice, deep, gravelly, cut through the air. "She's not here. But the boy is." Jaden's tiny fingers dug into my shirt. Then another voice, lighter, tense, female, answered from the doorway. "There's no time. Grab him and go. The mother will come back for him." They were working together. Two of them. Inside the apartment, my stomach twisted as their footsteps grew closer. They were checking doors. The bathroom. The bedroom. The laundry closet. I held Jaden tighter. I could feel his heartbeat thudding against my chest. My own breath felt like it was scraping my throat raw. Suddenly, the pantry door shook. A hand yanked on it, locked. Thank God. Thank God I turned the latch. The door rattled again, harder this time. "She locked this one," the man growled. "Break it," the woman ordered. I had seconds. Maybe less. My hand landed on something cold, a metal flashlight on a shelf. I tightened my grip around it, fingers trembling. If they opened this door, I'd fight until I couldn't. But before the man could kick it again, a sudden sharp banging echoed from outside the apartment. Someone else was out there, pounding on the open front door. Police. Hands where I can see them. My breath hitched. Police? Real ones? Or more of them? Everything exploded at once. The woman cursed. The man stormed toward the front door. I heard shouting, footsteps. It's a violent struggle. Jaden cried out softly. I cracked the pantry door just enough to see shapes moving in the hallway, officers wrestling the intruders to the ground. But then, one of the cops looked directly toward the pantry. Straight at me, and in that split second, something about his eyes cold, knowing, silent made every part of me freeze. Because he didn't look surprised to see us. He looked like he expected it. Asterisk. The pantry door creaked an inch as I eased it open, just enough to see what was happening in the apartment. Jaden's breath fluttered against my neck, warm and scared. I whispered, "It's okay, baby." But even I didn't believe my own voice. 2 officers had the intruders pinned on the floor. One man in a black hoodie. The woman who had ordered him to grab the boy. They were both fighting like wild animals, screaming curses, wrists twisting against the handcuffs. But it was the 3rd officer, the one standing in the doorway, staring directly at me, who froze my blood. Officer Dane Mercer. Tall, sharp jaw, dark skin, and eyes so cold they felt like they could crack glass. His expression didn't match the chaos. He wasn't angry. He wasn't confused. He was calculating. He tilted his head slightly, as if saying, "Come out." I already know you're there. My body stiffened. I pulled the pantry door another inch closed, but not fast enough. "He saw it, ma'am," he called out, his voice too smooth, too steady. "You can come out now. You're safe." Safe. The word felt like poison. He stepped toward the pantry, slow and deliberate. No urgency, no fear, just certainty. Behind him, one of the cuffed intruders, a woman with braids sticking to her sweaty face, lifted her head. "Don't trust him," she shrieked. His knee slammed into her spine before she could finish. Officer Mercer didn't even look down when he silenced her. Jaden whimpered. Mercer heard it, and he smiled, a small, chilling curl at the corner of his mouth. I shut the pantry door fully and clicked the lock. My heart hammered like it was trying to escape my chest. "Ma'am," said again. "Now right outside, I'm with the Detroit Police Department." "Open the door." His voice dropped lower. "More dangerous? You have something that doesn't belong to you." Jaden tensed in my arms like a lightning bolt. A beat later, another officer shouted from the hallway. "Mercer, dispatch says we have the wrong apartment. We weren't assigned to this call." Mercer cut him off sharply. "Stand down." "Oh, man. Seriously, someone else reported the break-in. Not us. We weren't even supposed to. A gunshot exploded." Jaden screamed. I clamped my hand over his ears. Silence. One officer down. The others froze. "What the hell, Mercer?" The remaining cop shouted. He was in the way. Mercer growled. That was it. No more doubt. The man was not here to save us. He was here for the boy. He tried the pantry. Doorknob. Persistently, slowly. "Like he had all the time in the world, ma'am," he said, his voice slipping into a chilling calm. "You don't want to make this harder. That boy is not yours." Jaden clung to me, crying silently. I pressed my forehead against his and whispered, "I'm not giving you to anybody." Outside, the woman in cuffs laughed, a broken, bitter laugh. "You ain't getting him, Mercer," she spat. "You know what that kid got in his head? You know what he saw?" Saw. My pulse skipped. What did this child witness? Mercer kicked the pantry door hard. Wood cracked. I grabbed the metal flashlight again, gripping it tight. Another kick. The hinges groaned. I had seconds. I lifted Jaden onto the shelf inside the pantry and whispered, "Don't move, no matter what." He nodded through tears. The door splintered on the next blow. I raised the flashlight. The door burst open, and a blinding light filled the apartment. A flashbang, thrown by someone else. Mercer cursed as the explosion sent him stumbling backward and through the smoke. Another figure appeared in the doorway, a woman, tall, fierce-eyed, holding a badge and a gun. Lorraine Carter. She called out, "I'm Agent Simone Graves with the FBI. Grab the boy. We're getting you out." The apartment was filled with smoke, alarms, and the smell of burnt metal. My ears rang from the flashbang. But Agent Simone Graves moved through the chaos like she'd trained her whole life for this moment. She grabbed my arm firmly. "We have 60 seconds before Mercer recovers," she whispered. "Take the boy now." Jaden scrambled into my arms, clinging to me like I was the only thing left in the world. I didn't even bother asking questions, I just followed. Simone out into the hallway as her tactical boots thudded on the cracked linoleum dot behind us. Mercer roared like a trapped animal. "Graves, you're interfering with a classified operation." Simone didn't look back. "Classified my ass," she muttered. "You're not taking another child? Another child." My chest tightened. We rushed down the stairwell, my breath sharp and ragged, Jaden trembling against me. Simone moved ahead, clearing each turn like she expected an ambush. This wasn't some random rescue. She knew exactly who was hunting us, at the building's back exit. She stopped abruptly and pressed her finger to her earpiece. "Unit 3. Confirm perimeter secure," she said. A crackle of static. Then a voice. "Perimeter clear. To unmarked cars approaching unknown allegiance." "Damn it!" Simone grabbed my hand. "We need to move now." We sprinted into the alley. A black SUV screeched around the corner. My heart stopped. Mercer. His people. The same ones who took Amara down. Simone shouted. She fired 3 precise shots. The SUV spun, tires shrieking, and backed off. "For now, who are these people?" I demanded as we ducked behind a dumpster, trying to catch my breath. Simone glanced at Jaden, who refused to let go of me, and then looked me dead in the eyes. "They're a rogue unit operating inside law enforcement. They're not sanctioned. They've been kidnapping kids connected to a trafficking ring Amara was investigating." My stomach twisted into a knot. Amara was investigating what? Simone hesitated. "Your daughter stumbled onto something massive. She found a backdoor communication line used by this rogue group. And Jaden." She crouched so she could meet the little boy's eyes gently. "Jaden saw one of their safe houses. He escaped, and Amara hid him." I felt everything tilt, like the ground had been yanked from under me. "Baby," I whispered to him, "what did you see?" Jaden clutched my shirt tighter. "A room. With kids. Locked up. They had chains, and they were crying. And Amara said they were taking more." His voice cracked. Tears rolled down his cheeks. I held him tighter than ever. "And Mercer?" I asked Simone, almost afraid to hear the answer. "He's one of the leaders," she said. "Your daughter sent that note because she knew she didn't have long before they grabbed her too." Her words stabbed through me. Double quotes. So Amara is alive." I choked out. Simone nodded. "As of 48 hours ago, yes. And we're going to get her." Before I could respond, her earpiece crackled again. "Graves, incoming. 3 vehicles. East Alley. They found you." Simone grabbed my wrist. "Run." We sprinted through the maze of alleys. Jaden's breath hitched with every step. My legs burned, my lungs screamed, but I refused to stop. Gunshots echoed behind us. A bullet whipped past my ear, splintering a brick wall. Simone fired back, keeping us shielded behind her body. But when we turned the corner, another SUV blocked the path. Mercer stepped out, no hesitation. "No mercy." Gun raised. Eyes locked on the boy. "Hand him over," he snarled. "Or I swear to God, I'll end all 3 of you right here." Mercer stood in front of the SUV like the devil himself, broad shoulders squared. Gun steady, eyes burning with a cold hunger. He didn't blink, didn't breathe, didn't hesitate. "Lorraine," he said in a voice too calm for the chaos around us, "I'm giving you one chance. Hand me the boy." Jaden buried his face into my shoulder, shaking violently. Simone stepped between us like a shield. "You're not touching this child," she growled. Mercer smirked. "Graves, always the stubborn one. You think you're a hero? You're one agent with a half-loaded weapon." His fingers tightened on the trigger. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my teeth. Every instinct screamed to run, but we were cornered. One alley behind us, a brick wall to the right. Mercer's SUV blocking the exit. "No escape," he said, reading my thoughts. "There never was." Simone leaned close to me and whispered fast, "When I move, run to the left. There's a narrow passage between those dumpsters. It leads to the loading docks. Keep running until you see my team." But I started, "No time. Hold the boy tight." Before I could protest, Mercer aimed at Simone's chest. Simone moved first, in a blur of motion. She shoved me aside and fired 2 shots. Mercer rolled behind his SUV door, returning fire. Concrete exploded around us. Double quotes, "Go," Simone shouted. I clutched Jaden and sprinted toward the narrow passage. Bullets rang out behind us, metal clanging, glass shattering. My legs burned, but fear pushed me forward. Jaden cried into my shoulder. I didn't dare look back, not until I heard Mercer yell, "Get the mother! Don't let her leave with him!" 2 men burst from the SUV. I ran faster, feet slamming the pavement. I ducked behind the dumpsters and into the tight passage. Jaden whimpered, his small arms gripping me like a vice. The alley spit us out into a loading dock behind an abandoned factory. Shadows moved everywhere. Not Shadows, Mercer's men. One spotted us there. "She has the boy." My breath broke. I stumbled but kept running. Jaden's sobs shook my neck. "Come on, baby," I whispered. "Mama's got you. Please hold on." 2 men closed in. I turned left, blocked. Right, blocked. I was trapped again. Then headlights burst on. 3 SUVs barreled toward us. Doors flew open, and armed agents leaped out, shouting commands. Simone's team, FBI. "Drop your weapons." Mercer's men scattered, firing wildly. A firefight ignited the night. A female agent grabbed my arm. "Get the boy in the vehicle. Move." I climbed inside with Jaden just as another explosion shook the ground. Through the window, I saw Mercer dragging Simone by her vest. Slamming her against the SUV, Simone fought back, landing a punch to his jaw, but Mercer was too strong. He pinned her to the concrete, gun to her throat. "You should have stayed out of this," he hissed. I screamed, "Simone." She looked at me through the chaos, her eyes fierce, unwavering. "Get him safe," she yelled. Another agent tackled Mercer from behind. Gunshots erupted. A flash. Then smoke, screaming bodies hitting the ground. I shielded Jaden's face, praying he didn't see any of it. Minutes later, maybe hours, the fighting stopped. Silence spread across the lot. A trembling agent opened my door. "It's over," she whispered softly. "Mercer is in custody." My whole body collapsed into the seat. Jaden clung to me. "Is Amara safe?" Tears blurred my vision. "We're going to find her, baby. I promise." Simone was brought over, limping but alive. She leaned into the vehicle's doorframe. "Lorraine, we found where they're keeping the kids," she said, "including your daughter." My breath caught. "She's alive," Simone whispered. "And we're bringing her home." Asterisk, in the darkest moments, love becomes the engine that keeps us running. A mother's strength is not measured by fearlessness, but by the courage to push through fear for the child she loves. Hold your people close. Listen when your spirit warns you. And never stop fighting for those who cannot fight for themselves. Thank you for reading, family. If you felt this story, tap that like, hit subscribe, and join me for more real, powerful tales. Asterisk. Thanks for watching till end. Please like and subscribe my channel. I will be very thankful to you. Sometimes life takes turns we never expect. Every person in this story carried their own pain, their own choices, and their own consequences. Maybe you saw yourself in one of them, or maybe it reminded you of someone you once knew. What do you think happened next? What would you have done if you were in their place? if you have any questions about what happened to the other characters, or if you want me to share more about them, just comment below. I read every message you leave, and your thoughts truly mean a lot to me. And if this story touched your heart, inspired you, or even made you think differently, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me keep sharing stories that move people, open minds, and remind us we're all human. At the end of the day, your support keeps these stories alive. Thank you for watching, for feeling, and for being part of this journey. More powerful stories are coming soon. Stay tuned and stay kind.